can say this is it. And it's really not a book, it's already in you. And so when you get tired, you discover that it's within. That all you got to do is make your mind up and say, you know what? I'm not going to be used. Not because I'm mad at you, but I'm mad at myself for not trusting myself sooner. I'm not mad at you for using me. I'm mad at me for letting you. I'm mad at me for thinking that I'm little enough to let you use me so I could have a companion, so I could have a friend. I'm mad at myself because I didn't love myself enough, so I made myself little. And I knew I was making myself little. I knew I was doing it. I knew I was doing it. I knew I was shrinking myself. I was making myself little just so you can put me in the car and take me to Popeyes with you. Just so you could call me your brother, your uncle, or something. Call me your cousin. That's my cousin. And all of these cousins you got, and all of these sisters you got, and all these play mamas and play daddies you got, they don't see you as their children. They don't see you as their brother. They don't see you as their sister. You are creating a fake relationship so they can keep you. They got their own people. They got their own people. They don't see you like that. And when the people that you called your mama and your daddy and your brother and your sister, they'll let you know who they're related to. They are going to let you know who they're related to. You understand? When you get tired of that, you got to tell yourself, you don't need a class. You need a commitment. You don't need a class. You need a commitment. You don't need 60 days to learn it. You don't need 5 months to know it. You know it right now. That's why you're angry, because you know it right now, but you don't trust it enough. That's right, validation. You need it. You don't trust it enough to hold you. And one day I just trusted it enough to hold me. I just said, you know, this is it. I didn't start off, I'm going to be a world-class teacher. I'm going to go all over the world. I didn't think about the world. I thought about me. And when I caught it, the world say, I want to hear you. I didn't try to have 3 doctorates. I wasn't trying to be an author or a publisher. I was a minister. I was a youth pastor. I was this. And I found something greater than that. I'm like, you know what? Because you could be a youth pastor, an evangelist, a prophet, and everything, and hate yourself. You can be a prophet, apostle, and still hate yourself. And you're going to need to always live in the character of being an apostle so people can respect you. So that's why a lot of people are addicted to whatever their function is, because you get respect for the function, but you're disrespected for your dysfunction. And I hated living a function that was constantly respected, but I wasn't respected as a person. I didn't respect myself. So if I hate myself, I'm going to consistently live in my function. I'm going to always live in the thing that will have respect for it. People will become addicted to a position that will attract respect, but that's nothing but flattery too. So nobody's really respecting your office. They're letting you preach at the 3 o'clock service, but they're really not respecting your life. So you find yourself consistently having to live in your function of ministry and this and that and this and that, so people can invite you to the functions and the conferences and the 3 o'clocks and the 4 o'clocks and the 2 o'clocks. But nobody's speaking to your clock. Nobody's speaking to you. Nobody's speaking to you. Nobody's speaking to who you really are. So sometimes God will call you away from the function. He'll call you from the function without removing the gift. So there is an exodus going on right now. Say exodus. There is a calling away. There is a falling away and a calling away. There is a calling away and a falling away from the functionality of the religious standard that we saw. And he's calling us to a place of function and rhythm, where you begin to see, this is what I am, this is who I am. And you have to have confidence and boldness. That's the devil you got to defeat. There's no pitchfork man with the tails. I got to beat that Satan. I got to beat the devil. I got to beat the Satan. No. You got to beat yourself. You got to know that you could survive, that God could remove that backpack from your back and that you could breathe underwater. You got to believe that you could breathe underwater, that he could remove that from you and you're not going to die. You're not going to be destroyed. That you're not losing stuff, you're exchanging stuff. And it's not just church. It's not just religion. It's you. It's you. It's within. It's when you fall in love with yourself and when you want to see yourself do good. I simply needed to see myself do good. Nobody could come and give it to you. Nobody could come, and you can't blame it, and you can't ask people to give it to you. You got to see how far you can go. You have to see how far you can go, and you have to put the challenge on yourself, and you say, I will go far. You got to follow yourself, and when you hear God's word in his mind say, pick that up. Now say that. Now write that. Now come back. You have to follow instruction that nobody knows you're hearing. The greatest person, male or female, of those who obey instructions that nobody knows is being said. You don't have to tell everybody, you know, God told me that, God told me that, God told me that, God told me that. No, your life will become what God is saying. You don't have to say it. After a while, people will see it. And it's not about living so they can see it. You will start seeing it, and people will feel what you're obeying. Without you saying you're obeying it. They will feel the draw. They will feel the commitment, and it will either inspire them or it will retract them. Most people who are lazy do not want to be with committed people, because the commitment of a committed person will affect the conscience and convict the lazy person. When I was a little boy and I would see my sisters vacuuming the floor and washing the dishes, and it's Saturday and I'm laying on the couch and you still in your drawers and they walking around, they vacuuming. That convicted me, because I'm trying to watch Shazam and ISIS, and they're working. And when you watch people work while you're laying down, it's hard to just lay down there in your drawers. It's kind of hard to just lay there in your drawers and watch them do what they do. Either you're going to get up or you're going to leave. You're going to get up and join in the work, or you're going to go outside. You understand? So when you are committed, I'm not talking about just going to pray and going to church, but when you are committed in following yourself to the hilt, whoever is around you who's not doing anything with their life are going to seek to leave your presence, or they're going to shift in your presence. You live it. And that's why the word says if we submit to God, the enemy will flee from us. Sometimes it's not submitting to God and watching an outer devil run, but the enemy that's within you, your own fear, your own doubt, your own dishonesty, your own laziness, your own excuse. When you submit to the standard, when you submit to the straight way that won't allow foolishness and wandering and indecisiveness, when you submit to that, the devil of your own mind, your own fear, your own laziness will flee from you. Not a pitchfork, not a man with a fork and a tail, but your own self as an enemy. It'll flee. So before I get off of here, how many of you, your own excuses have fled from you? Your own doubt has fled from you. Your own procrastination has fled. Your own fear has fled away. See, when you submit to the greater, your weakness run away. Say this before I let you go. When I submit to the greater, my own death runs away. See, if you're still dealing with fear and doubt and heartache and anger, not just anger, but fear of living and standing on your own, you haven't submitted to the straight way. You haven't submitted. That's right. No excuse will run away unless you submit to something greater than the excuse. If you submit to something that's lower than the excuse, you're going to have a creative excuse. But when you submit to something that holds you accountable, wherever you're weak will run away. it will run away. And you won't just be clear of excuse and procrastination. You're going to do something. Because if excuse runs away and excuses and procrastination runs away, then you will be doing something. It won't run away and just leave you not doing something. You will be doing something. So that's what happened to me. It's in my within. I want to make it. I want to make it at all costs. I want to win in my own life. I don't want my life down. You don't have to give it to me. You don't have to flatter me. You don't have to give me a handout. I want to push myself to the tilt. How many of you want to do the same? I'm going to push myself. I'm a divine thought. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. I'm worth it, whether you think so or not, whether you prefer me or not. Oh, I know that feeling of not being preferred. You don't have the look as this one. You don't have the skin color as this one. You don't sound right. You don't play right. You don't do this. Don't like. You don't have to be in those games to be chosen. You know what I found out? Stop being in places where preference is preferred. I don't have to be there. You don't have to have me, because if you don't see me, you can't deny me. And I don't like that anyway. So why am I always going where I don't like, to wait to be picked by something I don't want? Who's telling you to go? Who's telling you to go to those places? Why are you going? Why are you showing up where you're not celebrated? Why are you showing up? For what? Why are you showing up and then complain when they don't? You don't want to be there either. So why are you going? For what? To make who understand? To make them see what? To make them see they made a mistake? You know, just know that you didn't make one. You understand? Why do I have to show up where I don't want to be so people can notice something? What do I want them to see? What do I want them to say? Do I want them to apologize? Look, if you're going to really move in your purpose, there's some apologies you're going to have to leave alone. If you're going to really move in your destiny, there are some apologies you're going to have to get used to not hearing. If you're going to really move in your purpose, there are some things, some I'm sorry's you're going to have to accept that I'm not going to hear that I'm sorry. There are some things you're going to have to give up the need to hear them say I'm sorry. You're going to have to give up your need for them to say I was wrong, you were right. You're just going to have to know it. You understand? Sometimes we show up so people can apologize. Sometimes we show up so we can hear them say we should have chose you. Sometimes we show up so we can hear them say, yeah, I was supposed to give you the money and not this person the money. Okay. It's cool. Let it go. Why do we show up in places that we don't want to be? Why do we show up in places that we don't want to see? Why do we show up? And why are we waiting to hear something we don't need to hear? So sometimes you got to set yourself free from somebody else's apology and somebody else's validation and somebody else's ability to say that they were wrong. Just make sure you live what's right for you. Live what's right for you and be bold about it and feel good about it. Nobody could teach you to feel good. Feeling good is a natural reaction or a natural response of being assured of something. That I did what I knew to do and I feel good. The feeling good comes natural because whatever you do is going to check your soul, and your soul is going to say you did what you wanted and you did it for the right reason. The motives were right, and whenever your motive is right, it'll reward you with a good feeling. Nobody could teach you to feel good. You doing what you know to do will give you a good feeling. Now that's what I did. And that's what I still do. No, I don't get on to say that I'm